friends, this was of course a singular session. We have a lovely panel discussion now, and chairing this session is none other than our National President, Dr. Ajit Pathak. May I request Dr. Pathak to come up on stage, please. Dr. Ajit Pathak. Dr. Pathak, of course, as you all know, he is the National President of the Public Relations Society of India and a former board member of the International Public Relations Association. Okay. So I'm told that this is going to be one more a singular session, none other than someone who needs no introduction, DD Purakayastha. DDP, to all of us, is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of ABP Private Limited. He's also the Chairman of Infocom, the country's largest ICT exposition. He's regarded as a veteran in the IT industry in India. For your information, DDP is possibly one of the major founders of Infocom that you see it in its present magnificent form today across the country. He's a cost and management accountant. He has spent 37 years in media. He's on the board of ANN, the ABP News Network Private Limited, the broadcasting company of ABP News, ABP Anundo, ABP Majha, and ABP Ashmita news channels. He has led ABP to be the most diversified media company of the country. Globally, he is on the board of WAN IFRA, the largest association of news media companies having 18,000 members worldwide. He is also the special advisor to the president of WAN IFRA. He is president of the INMA South Asia, the International News Media Association, and is on its global board as well. INMA is the world's leading provider of global best practices for news media companies, sharing ideas and inspiring change. It has more than 6,000 members in more than 80 countries. May I request Mr. Purakayastha to come up and start the presentation, please.
Thank you for the good words. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here this morning with you. Now I'm talking on a topic which is Young India and the Communication Revolution. This Young India is a subject which is a threat and opportunity for all the marketers across the globe. Their behavior is unknown even today. What excites them, what makes them unhappy. We're all trying across the globe to try to understand them and target our communication towards them. It's not easy, I can tell you this. With these words, I start my talk. Can I have the slide? Oh, yeah. Second slide. Now, India is becoming increasingly young country. As you see in the slide, 45% of the country's population is below 24 years of age and 66% below 35 years. With 356 million 10 to 24-year-olds, India has the world's largest youth population, and China is far behind with 269 million people in the age bracket of same group, 10 to 24 years. Now, India has a median age at 26 years. It's 2010, trending towards 28 in 2020. Now compare this to the median age of other countries in 2010, Brazil at 29, China at 34, US at 36.6, Russia at 38, UK at 40, and Japan at 45. They're old, aging countries. India is young and vibrating. So this is more challenging to marketeers in India, how to target this young group. Now, problem is this young generation behaves differently. It is not the way we are used over last so many decades. All the marketers are used to certain kind of communication over several decades, but this is changing fast. And you're all feeling this very strongly. This young generation Y, as they call them, has been raised by a very different set of parents. They are also young, more or less. The generation X, who said to their children, experiment and live life your way. I give you an example of my son who was working in a large multinational company in the US, spent 10 years. He came back to India and told me, Papa, I can't leave he was head of market, head of sales and marketing in America of large multinational companies. He came back and said, Papa, one day, he says, I want to do a startup from Calcutta. I said, what are you telling me about? We're leaving the job and coming to Calcutta out of all the places. He said, just give me a chance. I want to do it. I said, boy, go ahead. Today, his first startup, 2 weeks ago, got initial funding of $3 million US within 2 years' time. And he tells me this is the largest single startup funding in Bengal ever. So this is the way how the young generation is behaving now. They leave their cushy jobs. He had a beautiful bungalow in the US, best known cars in the world. Left all the riches and came back to India to start. And he spent difficult time in 2 years. I'm telling you, I didn't support him. Spent difficult time for 2 years, and now he's seeing the sign of success. So the parents are saying, we are here for you, of course, and you might fail, but that's okay. Go ahead. That clear-eyed practicality may serve youth and their families well going forward, as they now have more of a say in household decisions as well than ever before, including choosing dining out locations, family vacation destinations, entertainment options, and buying tech devices. They decide. This young generation doesn't listen. They like to engage. Therefore, the traditional modes of communication, like TV, we are used to, TV, print, outdoor, are not enough anymore. These seem to be too dictating. Why? Because they want to engage. Engaging is the mantra. And these mediums are not engaging enough. They dictate. So many years, so many decades we have been passing on this content, whatever we think is right. We never thought what users feel right, what readers feel right, what viewers feel right. And it's one-way communication, no feedback from the other end. So marketeers are engaging them both online and offline. They have to. This generation does not hesitate to speak up. According to a study by Pitch magazine, 50% of youth vociferously complain online if they do not get good service from brands. This puts a huge pressure of performance of brands and corporate. Their young customers will no longer take a no for an answer and will not let it be if they are short-charged on products or services. I'll show you a video now. See it, listen to it and see it carefully, the words they're saying. It's amazing how the social media, how the young people can change the world. The video, please.
Anyone who has ever been ticked off at an airline is going to absolutely relish this. Now, a musician whose expensive guitar was damaged by United Airlines baggage handlers and who was treated with cold indifference after he complained about it is getting his revenge big time in an online video that has become quite a hit. Take a look.
And if it did, I wouldn't bring my luggage, 'cause you'd just go and break it into 1,000 pieces, just like you broke my heart when United
And joining us for an exclusive interview from Halifax is Dave Carroll. Dave, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So I guess it's safe to say, thanks to United, that your music career has really taken off.
Well, I got home last night and I downloaded 1,000 emails, so yes.
Did you ever expect, though, with coming up like a video like this, that it would be received as well as it has and take off the way it has, pardon the pun?
No, not at all. I put it up on Monday night, and when I went to bed I had 6 hits, and I was impressed with that number at that time. So having over 1 million now is pretty overwhelming in 3 days. I'd initially thought that I would try for 1 million with the 3 videos, but I didn't expect this would happen.
All right, take me back. You're on a United flight in Chicago about a year ago. Something catches your eye. What exactly was it?
Well, I was sitting in the back of the plane in Chicago on a United Airlines flight, and we were waiting to deplane to catch a connecting flight to Omaha, and a woman behind me looked out the window and she cried out, "Oh my God, they're throwing guitars outside." And our bass player looked outside to see his bass guitar being thrown, and mine was thrown before that, and ultimately it was damaged.
Now, that is the guitar in question with you right now, correct?
That's the one. It's my Taylor guitar.
Tell me a little about this. This is an expensive piece of equipment.
It's a $3,500 guitar, but it's not so much about the money. It's the sentimental value, and it's a beautiful instrument. I've had it for over 10 years and played it on all of the Sons of Maxwell's 8 recordings and my own solo release, as well as writing some of the songs I'm most proud of were written on that guitar. So
now, you said you spent about $1,200 to fix it, but it still doesn't sound the same. When you went to United Airlines about some reparations for the repair work or what did they say, and have they decided to give you any money or anything along those lines to make up for your troubles?
I haven't spoken to United yet. I understand they're interested in compensating me in some way, but I asked for, ultimately at the end in November, I finally just said, how about giving me $1,200 in flight vouchers to compensate me for the money it cost me to fix the guitar? And I was told that that was going to be the last word on it, and really it wasn't their responsibility, or they were sorry for what had happened, but nothing was going to happen with that. And so at that point I decided to become active, and as I call it, my Michael Moore moment, where I asked myself what would a singer-songwriter do if he were Michael Moore, and the answer is to write songs about it. So I put it all behind me, and I really have no hard feelings at United, but I just wanted to have a fun experience with this.
Now, United, surprisingly, loves the video. Did you think that if you didn't make the video, they probably never would have returned a phone call?
Well, I'm sure they wouldn't have. I was told that I would never hear from them again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You going to do a follow-up?
This is United Song 1 that people are watching, and I've promised 3 songs. United Song 2 is already written, and I've been performing it to rave reviews at live shows for a couple of months, and I'm planning on making a video for that. And Song 3 is yet to be written, and so it's a blank page right now, so this could end up being a love story.
Yeah. Got to lose more luggage, huh?
It's a hard way to do it.
Well, it sounds like sky is the limit.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I ask you, what is the chorus to the second song?
I'm not at liberty at this time to disclose that.
Whoa, wait a second, Dave. What do you mean not at liberty? This is an exclusive. You ought to break some news right here. Otherwise, I'll make sure you never fly first class again.
Okay.
I know some people at United.
Actually, the second song is sort of a microcosm. The first one's a chronology of how we got here, and the second one is a even more lighthearted look at the interactions I had between Ms. Earlwig in Chicago, who I understand is getting maybe more heat than she deserves. I have to say that she was a great employee to United and a real worthy adversary.
Thank you so much, Dave, for joining us. We appreciate it. Congratulations on everything and continued success.
Thank you very much.
Anyone who has ever been ticked off.
So this guy, guitar of $3,200 was broken by a guy in United Airlines, Chicago, and he went from door to door for 1 year, and he asked only for $2,000 for repairs. United said, no, he didn't come on time, didn't come to proper channel, he didn't fill up the form at the right time. So this guy went to social media. What he did is he put a video, the United breaks guitar. And then it became viral. I mean, a few days it hit almost 10 million hits very soon. And do you know how much money ultimately United lost? Their share value within four weeks went down by 10%. The $180 million they lost, market cap. Market cap United lost for $180 million. They could have settled the issue of paying $2,000. So that is the power of social media, of the new age media. How quickly it can become viral and how it can affect any brand. No brand is free of any risk like this. It can happen to any brand, any time. So every brand has to be very careful what's happening in their world, how their brand is being seen by the young generation. Continuously, we have to monitor our brand on a real-time basis, if anything going wrong. And there are departments being set up by large brands to continuously search the net and find out anything is going wrong against the brand and immediately respond to that. These guys didn't respond and see what result has happened. So when it comes to reaching youth, it's never one medium that serves the purpose to target the youth today. If we have to talk to the youth today, we have to surround them, TV, social media, digital, and on-ground engagement, and so on. I was talking to the Airtel head of marketing the other day. I told him, your ads are fantastic. No, don't tell us this, because every day you have to change, every day our communication has to change, and we have to keep pace with this generation. We have to keep them engaged throughout the year, day in and day out. So digital is the preferred mode of communication. Digital has become the most preferred mode of communication for this generation. In fact, social media has become the new hangout zone for the youth. If 10 years ago it was PVR or Cafe Coffee Day, where the youth used to hang out, today it's social, where they hang out. The average Indian youth spends almost 60% of his media time on digital media. 60%. A TCS did a survey. It says 74% of those surveyed said they use Facebook the most to communicate, while 54% considered to use SMS, both significantly higher than the number of students who said they use voice calls for the same purpose. I am telling you this, I am from a conventional media. But this is what is facing us, all of us. So we have to go digital, we have to take this jump and face this young generation. The power of digital is further enhanced by various apps that make life easier for the youth, be it a banking app, or a cab app, or a ticket booking app. And make no mistake, people say it is all metro affair. The large part of India is left behind. They don't have connectivity. They are not literate enough. So make no mistakes. The small town youth is equally digitally savvy. And in fact, the level of involvement with the digital medium is higher than youth in bigger cities. In some cases, mini metros have moved ahead of their counterparts in metros. For example, 29% of respondents said they post on Facebook more than 3 times a week. The corresponding figure for metros was only 23%. A TCS survey says this. That's how the rural India is changing. Their contribution to e-commerce, in some cases, is more than their metro cousins, by the way. The e-commerce portal, YepMe, claims that 70% of its sales is from small town, and only 30% from metros and big cities. So messages actually need to be customized for the youth. The same message doesn't work with every genre. Addressing the youth of India not only needs focus on digital as a medium, but also customizing the message content. Topics that excite the youth are sports, adventure, music, gaming, and so on. Several brands have focused on these topics to capture the imagination of the youth. One such example is PepsiCo's Mountain Dew. The brand launched Mountain Dew Extreme Tour in India with the objective to drive increased consumer engagement by making them experience and witness action sports, going well with its positioning of Dar ke aage jeet hai. Under this initiative, Mountain Dew organized consumer workshops across metros and smaller cities in addition to bike mobs in various colleges. We certainly cannot afford not to talk about Airtel's successful Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai campaign. The entire campaign and communication was centered around the notion of the group of friends that today's youth hang out with. In summary, India's changing demographic profile has been talked about for a long time now. The challenge is to identify the best route to communicate with this increasingly young demographic population. Brands need to invest and dig deep in order to identify specific messages and communication media they need to use to engage with this youth. It will be an evolving answer, but a highly exciting one to find out. If you ask me, there's no silver bullet. I can't give a simple answer to that. We're all trying, we're all evolving. That's all I have to say today. So I'll leave the house to Q&A now. If you want to ask questions, you are free to ask, please. Yes, Rita.
Hello. You head up one of the largest media conglomerates, and a lot of it is physical media, all your newspapers and all your magazines. And yet you're putting so much stress on digital. Yes. So I'm just wondering if that is really bringing you the big bucks. I'll just give you my own example. When I write for The Telegraph or for Anandabajar, I get a lot of feedback. People read it, physically read it. But the moment my columns started going online, I got no feedback. And yet you say digital is where everything goes viral. So please tell me what's happening.
Good question. Now, we were, ABP as a group was a bit behind the median in this transformation. We started this journey actually a year ago. We are just present in the space, but for the last 1 year, we're really seriously trying this business. Now, 1 year, we started with Bengali newspapers, with Anandabhaja Putrika Nebela. Now, within 1 year, now we are recording a page view of 140 million page views per month. Anandabhaja Putrika, for 93 years, our readership is 60 million. 600 million, 60 lakhs. 600 million in 93 years, we're clocking 140 million in 1 year. So that's the power, Rita. So you wait for some more time, you may get more response, but I'm definite it will give more response than our print media. I am telling you this, standing here on this floor. And we are seriously thinking to go deep into this. We launched a wedding site, AVP Weddings. And again, we are a pioneer, we are a strong player in matrimony in print, but this is also not even a 1 year old venture. We have now 100,000 entries in this AP Wedding site, and about 35,000 entries which are verified by us. Their ID is verified. So 35,000 verified IDs. So our target is within 1 year we should cross Shadi by 2017 March, and by 18 March we'll cross bharatmatrimony.com. So that's how a print media is transforming to digital, Rita. So we have to do it for survival. Yes, if you ask me whether it's giving us money, I would say no, because that answer is still unknown. Because if you say advertisement, most of the money is hogged by Facebook and Google. About 85% of the digital media spend in India are taken away by Facebook and Google. We get 15% is shared by all the media and all other non-media companies, digital. So there's a small amount, and we have to all share from there. The other option is to go ask subscribers to pay. Now it is difficult proposition in India because newspaper itself is almost free. Telegraph is sold almost 1 rupee per copy in subscription. So I don't know how people will behave if you ask them to pay for digital, but that's a big challenge. But again, I believe we have to, cross this obstacle, because I still believe the strong brands have got the brand value. We are not a commodity. So we will be able to fight against Facebook and Google in digital space, because if our digital brands are strong, we cross 140 million. If we have 1 billion viewer, I don't think any advertiser can undermine us and go to Facebook and Google to advertise. And Facebook and Google is only a aggregator. They don't have any news of their own. They collect from us and they make money. But here we are with a strong brand. With 93 years, we have enhanced the brand. We have got strong content providers, not the runaway, run-of-the-mill, content you find in social media. Anybody can put something and go away. So I believe we have a long way to go. Monetization part, yes, Rita, we are not yet, we don't know the answer as yet, but I'm sure, I'm very hopeful we'll make money. But again, if we don't go there, that's certainly a recipe for disaster. Because this media, I'm telling you, standing here, won't last for long. Just the print, non-interactive media like print and television won't last long. Yeah, please.
Good morning. Purakayastha Da, I must say, because I have associated him for a very long time. So, it's not a question really, it's an anxiety. Your predecessor, Mahesh, spoke about advertising and how it was changing. And you also talked about the big brands completely moving out of the advertising space. How is advertising going to look like for you? Precisely because any print media or any media for that matter has to depend on advertising for survival.
I completely disagree with Mahesh. I don't think big brands have moved away from advertising. Maybe exception is not the rule. There may be 1 or 2 exceptions. Well, Apple advertises. Who said Apple doesn't advertise? Apple, we get iPhone ads every other day on our newspaper. So Apple do advertise. There are many brands like Amway. Amway, when it came to India, they said they don't advertise. It's a direct to home, direct marketing. But Amway, we get many ads from Amway. So I don't think advertising will just vanish from this art. Suddenly, big brands won't advertise. I'm very sorry, it is not going to happen. And he said that if it's differentiated brand, they don't have to advertise. Now, how many brands are differentiated? Even if you are today differentiated, tomorrow somebody will copy you. So you become undifferentiated anyway. And it is very easy to copy a brand and become similar, me too. So I don't think advertising is going away. It will become more important, I would say. More important, especially in the context of digital.
So I have a question for you. You said that in non-metros, Facebook use you have shown through the survey is more in comparison to metros. Since you are saying that ABP is going online, many of your sites are available. How many clicks do you get from non-metro zones? Because apparently what we feel in metro regions, urban population have more access to internet. But since the survey showed that non-metro, at least with regard to Facebook, it's going up. So in regard to your newspapers, e-versions of papers, how many clicks, or the matrimonial sites, how many inquiries you get from non-metros?
Like matrimony, I won't say. This is a purely, now we're focusing on metro alone because our offline stores are based in metro. We haven't really gone into non-metro so much, but the content side, Anandabade Potrika Debela, our content, 33% of our viewers come from Bengal, 33% from rest of Bengal, and 33% from outside India. Now, out of Bengal, I would say it is about 40, 60. 60 is from metro, 40 from rural Bengal, and it is growing. So it is not, a number which is undermined. It is growing, and especially, I am not talking about villages, but there are tier 2 towns like Durgapur, Shiliguri, Baharampur, those towns, Asansol, So those there are definitely people are logging from there and reading our content.
I have a question over here.
This is possibly, DDP, the last question we can
I have another meeting. I have to leave within 5 minutes.
He's also
next few minutes.
busy.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand how marketing should be different now in this today's world. What should a marketer do to ensure that his product is visible without advertisement and online? That is what
That's what I talked about for so long. Your communication should be targeted to the youth. Youth is the most biggest consumer of online. I mean, people of my age hardly uses online. So youth is the major category, and obviously youth which want to engage is not a one-way communication to them. You have to be engaging communication so that they can come back to you, and if there's interaction, they get a feedback, you communicate to them. That's how it will be. So communication will be that mode. It's not just one way brand communication and goes to them.
Does it depend on the product that you're going to sell?
Of course, it depends on product.
Yes.
It will vary from product.
If suppose the Indian Railways has to do it, then everyone uses it. It is not only the youth. So
Sorry, come again?
I said the Indian Railways.
Yes.
I think they are the largest in the world, our Indian Railways, and everyone uses it. So how do you think in that context, what would be the measure or what should be the marketing strategy?
Now, Indian Railway is not the right example. It is Indian used by old and young.
Any product is a product, any service
so
is
that
a
may
service.
not be the right
I'm
context.
just asking
because Indian Railway is a service which is used equally by more by elderly than youth. So their communication should be different. But brands like a consumer brand, so definitely is more used by the youth. So their communication should be different again. So you can't generalize anything like this. What I'm saying is it must be targeted to their need, what they need. According to their need, you should make your advertisement communication like that. You can't have a overall same thing that applies to everybody. That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Purakayastha, thank you very much. As always, very illuminating presentation. We would request you to stay on the dais for a while. May I request Shomujit, are you here? Shomujit Mahapatro? Oh, Dr. Ajit Pathak is here. Dr. Ajit Pathak, our national president, may we have the pleasure of having you up on stage to greet D.D. Purakayastha. I'm sure you have done this many a time in the past. Thank you, Mr. Purakayastha, for being with us and giving us your very, very precious time. D.D. Purakayastha leading one of India's most fabled media houses for so long. So Mr. Purakayastha would use this on his very frequent overnight ones. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.